I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and this time is for Grade B, and it's for Thelma and Louise, which is a film I had seen quite a few bits and pieces of throughout the years. This is the first time I saw it all the way through, and it's a film I always forget Ridley Scott directed this, because I think of Ridley Scott, I think of Alien, Blade Runner, Black Rain, even G.I. Jane, but I always forget that he did this movie. I know originally he didn't want to do it, like he liked the idea, but he thought, well, maybe Tony Scott, my brother, or some other people will be better suited for this. But ultimately he did it, and this became a big hit. I believe it won the Oscar for Best Screenplay. This is the Oscar season where Silence of the Lambs got pretty much every other major award. You have Susan Sarandon and Geena Davis starring as these two women who, they live lives where they've been abused or bullied, and they go out for the weekend to have fun. Geena Davis flirts with a guy in a bar. Guy tries to rape her. Susan Sarandon pulls a gun on the guy. The guy's like, okay. But then he has to add in, well, I should have raped her. What'd you say? I said, suck my cock. So, of course, Susan Sarandon shoots his sorry ass. And then after that, they're on the run. And pretty much, they become a little bit of outlaws. The cops are after them. And meanwhile, Harvey Keitel, who's actually a decent guy, he realizes there's something more to this. He tries to help. And pretty much it's this journey that our two main characters take. Whether they pick up this drifter played by Brad Pitt, whether Susan Sarandon has some quality time with her boyfriend, Michael Madsen, who actually plays a decent guy in this. It's one of those times like Species and a few others where he plays a decent guy. And I thought that was nice because I like Michael Madsen as an actor, and he normally plays scumbags or bad guys or people willing to cut off ears. But it was nice to see this different side of Michael Madsen. I thought bits with him and Susan Sarandon was rather sweet. Brad Pitt, this was definitely an early role for him, so he has a lot of vigor and energy while he's having fun with Geena Davis in bed. Jumping on the bed saying, oh, I'm an outlaw, I'm a robber, and he's got a hair dryer. Talking about how he robbed this place, how he robbed that place. I do think what makes the film work is, number one, the nice locales of the desert. I thought Ridley Scott maybe channeled a little bit of his brother Tony Scott with those scenes. The score by Hans Zimmer was pretty decent, in particular at the very end of the film, which I'll get to. And I thought Susan Sarandon and Geena Davis did a great job. I thought they had really nice chemistry with each other. I thought you could definitely tell the love, the friendship, the the quality human beings that they think the other person is. Like, they really do care for each other. Like, after the fun night with Brad Pitt, Geena Davis comes out and Susan Sarandon looks at her and is like, wow, you finally got laid properly. Or they're having they're having fun in the car driving, and you learn a little bit more of the characters. Like, you get the idea that Susan Sarandon may have been raped in the past, which is why she was so fucking gung-ho about taking care of this would-be rapist earlier in the film. They get chased by more cops. This money that they get stolen by Brad Pitt's character, so then Geena Davis robs a bank, and you see that this character is becoming more and more free. Which is the beginning of the film when she's with her husband, played by Christopher McDonald, you know, the bad guy from Happy Gilmore. She's kind of in the shell, and you tell that she gets abused, whether physically or verbally or both. And throughout the film, she's able to become more free and more alive. And again, Susan Sarandon, because of what happened in the past in Texas, she's a little bit of shell of herself. And you see these two women break out of their shell, sadly to tragic results. Other people recognize Jason Bigay. He was the star of Monkey Shines that George Romero directed, which I quite enjoy that movie. I reviewed it quite a while ago. He plays a state trooper that they put in the trunk of the car so that they can get away. This is one asshole trucker that keeps passing them, and finally they've had enough and they blow up the guy's tanker on his truck. And like I said, the chemistry between the two leads worked. Apparently, the original idea was going to be, I want to say, Jodie Foster, Michelle Pfeiffer, which would have been interesting, but I do think these two did a great job with what they had with their roles. I know throughout the years has been labeled a feminist movie. I guess I can see where they're coming from, but the reason I'm hesitant to say that because I've seen a lot of movies in the past couple of years that I would really truly call feminists, as in every guy is a fucking piece of shit. Ghostbusters 2016 I think is way more feminist than this. At least this, I think Michael Madsen's character is a decent guy. There's nothing really wrong about his character. Harvey Keitel, he's a guy who's trying to help them, especially based on this one phone conversation he has with Susan Sarandon, trying to see if, hey, I know something happened in Texas, I want to help you guys. But it's about these two women that are tired of being told what to do. They're being tired of being held down. They're being tired of, you have to do this, you have to do that, so that you get to the ending. To just think of the song, I'm gonna do it my way, and they go in their 66 Thunderbird convertible, they drive off the fucking cliff into the Grand Canyon. As they're going, a freeze frame. And granted, I'm not really a big fan of those type of endings. But I will say in this, it was handled as good as you could, because the piece of score behind Zimmer is my favorite piece in the movie. In a weird way, it's like uplifting with the way they made it, where they're happy and they're free, and if this is how it's going to be, they're going to do it as being free, and not being told what to do by society or by anything else of that sort. And the fact that it freeze frames right there at the height, as if, who knows, maybe 10 seconds later, I don't know. But from what I understand, there were other endings. One filmed where you would see the car tumble down more, and then Harvey Keitel would look over and then find their picture. I just see why you cut that out, because that definitely brings more of a somber, depressing feel. While here, even though it is depressing, it's still that using the music, using the way it's framed, in a way you're able to manipulate the audience into not feeling so sad, even though it is sad, which I thought was actually kind of a clever way to do that. And this was never filmed, but at one point there was thoughts on, by Ridley Scott, maybe Susan Sarandon would push Geena Davis out of the car right before she goes off. I know if you did that, the film would not be as memorable, because most people who remember this film, they remember the ending. I think more people probably remember the ending more than the actual movie, although the actual movie is pretty decent too. I think as a general public opinion and consent, I prefer that ending because it makes it that much more impactful and memorable. And you know, someone would argue, well, technically, what would Geena Davis go back to? A piece of shit husband, and probably be charged guilty of crimes, probably be in prison. I mean, when people bring that up, I'm like, well, it's kind of hard to argue that. The attempted argument is, like to think something than suicide is the answer, but on the flip side, I get what they're going with with the movie. When they have a collage of unforgettable movie moments in history, this is one of those moments that get brought up. And that's what I'm saying, as a movie, as in a weird way, a public image, it's definitely a scene that, like I say, even if you haven't seen the film, you probably do remember the scene. And the two of them holding hands as they go off. Although I did notice a little fuck up technically, because they're driving and they're looking at each other, and as right before they go off, you see the gas pedal hit. Then it has a close-up of Geena Davis and Susan Sarandon, but the background isn't moving. So I could tell what they did was them moving off a camera when they're up close to their faces. That was when they first decided to drive. But I guess they decided to add it in there to have one more image of these two. Like, they must not have had an actual image of the up close faces of the characters with the background moving. Just if you watch the film again, when she presses the accelerator for the extra oomph, the background isn't moving on the up close to their faces. So I'm like, okay, that was a little technical screw up. I'm like, wait a minute, the background isn't moving. Oh, that was for earlier, and they put it here for more dramatic effect. Anyway, just a little nitpick. I don't really have a lot of, I mean, yeah, a lot of the guys are ridiculous folks. I guess it didn't make me as mad compared to other films, because again, there are at least some decent guys in here. Unlike some where there's none. At least here it's like, yeah, there's a decent guy. Like Ghostbusters 2016, name one decent person. The guy who gives him the middle finger, the guy who's the villain, the Bill Murray who's a dick in the movie. I mean, even people like, oh, women don't, I forget what the fuck that movie. Here though, it was much more tolerable. I'll say that. And I thought the script did that kind of stuff better. And granted, while it's a film that I just don't see myself rewatching a lot, not for any particular reason, but like I said, I do think the two leads did a really good job with their roles, and you know, when they were having fun, I easily bought into it. It was also a nice time capsule to see people like Brad Pitt and Harvey Keitel and such. And you know, for a film that has been referenced many times, it's nice to finally see it all the way through. So that I can knock that off the bucket list of movies to watch. And like I said, it's not a bad film. I mean, I would not put it as a favorite Ridley Scott film. I would put Alien and Black Rain, G.I. Jane above this, but like I said, pretty decent flick. So, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.